What's up, everybody? It's your boy Season. So today we're going to be taking a look at my top 5 most desired metal builds. These are the metal builds that I would like to see in the metal build line. And before you watch the video, go ahead and put your top 5 that you would like to see for the metal build line in the comments. I'll be interested to read those. So we're not going to waste any more time. So let's go. So first, before I actually start my top 5, I actually want to give my honorable mention. This is the one that almost made my top 5 list for my most desired metal builds that I would like to see. And for this one, it will be the Gundam X from Afterwar Gundam X. I think that this is an underrated mobile suit. It's roughly the size of the Wing mobile suits. This was the series that came out in Japan after Wing. And I think that this is a very underrated suit. We have gotten the master grade of this in the past. And actually, I think that that is actually a very underrated master grade. That master grade was really masterfully crafted. And I think with the X Divider is probably be the version of the Gundam X that I would actually want the most. We actually never got it in master grade form simply just because I heard that it didn't sell well. And that's unfortunate. I do understand that this is not a popular suit, but it is one of my personal favorites. And I think that this one would actually be probably better for the metal composite line than the actual metal build line. But I do believe that this is a worthy mobile suit that should get a metal build or get some metal composite love. The satellite cannon is amazing. It's amazing to look at, even if you had to perfect parts with the metal robot line. I think that you could do quite a bit with this. It's relatively basic as far as the color scheme and things like that. It does have some gimmicks like with the satellite cannon and even with the X Divider, but I do believe that the Gundam X, I would love to see this as a metal build or as a metal composite. So I want to give a shout out to my honorable mention, the Gundam X. So now let's get into the top 5. So my number 5 pick for metal builds that I would like to see is going to go to the Build Strike. There are so many different things that you could do with this, and you already have the Strike done as far as metal builds. We've gotten so many different versions of that over the last 5 years with all the Striker packs. You could put these in the alternative Strike line, so all the backpacks can work with all of the other seed kits. This would just be an amazing pick, and I think it would be a relatively easy pick. You also have like 3 or 4 different versions of the Build Strike itself. So you've got the full package. You have the Star Build Strike, you have the Galaxy Cosmos Build Strike, and you have the Exceed Galaxy Build Strike. So you could do any of those, and I think that this would go over well. And then also, once the Seed Destiny part of the metal build line is done, you could actually just walk right into this and still use some of your older molds, and you can get so much out of this. And then you can also lead into this series, especially the first season or the first series of the Build Fighters line, because the first season was just so good. And even though Try was okay, all of them, the quality kind of went down as the shows went along. At least that's my own personal opinion on that. So to me, you got so many different things that you can pick from out of that first show. And, you know, you've got a version of the Gundam X in there. You got a version of the Astray in there. You've got so many different things that you could do. You got the Camphor Amazing in there. There's a ton of different mobile suits that you could do that are really just offshoots of mobile suits that we already have. And I think that this would be a really good pick for the metal build line. So this is my number 5 pick, the metal build Strike. So my pick for number 4 is going to be the GP03. I love this suit. This comes from 0083. A lot of people consider that to be the top gun of the Universal Century, and I do believe that is true. I think that the Stamen would be a really good one. Now, of course, with the Stamen, everybody would want the Dendrobium. That's considered more of a mobile armor, and I would love to see it. I think with the new metal structures, I think that pretty much everything is on the table. Now that Bandai understands that these collectors are willing to pay almost any price with, the Zabi, the metal structures Zabi costing almost 2,000 and the new costing almost 1,000. Even though I do understand that getting the dendrobium would be a long shot, I would be all for it. Now, I couldn't imagine the size of it. It would be definitely a piece. It would take up an entire shelf. You couldn't even fit it in a DTOF or anything of that nature. But I think to see it at a 1/100 scale would be something to see. So, of course, that is my pick for number 4, the GPO3. So, my number 3 pick for the metal builds that I would like to see is going to go to a mobile suit from Gundam Seed Destiny Astray B, which is a novel, and it's going to go to the Gundam Astray Noir. Now, we have gotten a master grade of this and a high resolutions model of this, even though both of those came out quite some time ago. I know the model came out in like roughly around like 2013 or so, and it's a P Bandai, so it is kind of hard to find now, but I do really like this Astray. I think it's one of the best of the variants. Instead of Bandai just keep pumping out red frames, I think to give us a different variant like this, I think would be really good. And to be honest, it would be very easy for them to do because we've already gotten an Astray red frame. Of course, we've gotten multiple variations of that, but we've also gotten a metal build Strike Noir. And so really all it is taking the backpack from the Strike Noir and then adding the gun swords and some of the weapons from that Strike Noir, and then giving us some of the swords from the red frame, and that pretty much is the Gundam Astray Noir. So I think that this would be easy for them to do. And if they actually decided to do this, you could open it up to other variants. There is another variant from the Gundam Astray Noir that is the Astray Noir D, and that has the Destiny Impulse's wings. And so if you wanted to do that, it would be relatively simple to do that. And I think it's just the color scheme, I think, is really, really good. This would be a tremendous suit to do, I think. I think this would be a perfect suit to do. And if you do those variants, you may be able to get a Gundam Astray turn red. And I think that would be really, really well received. So this is my pick for number 3, the Gundam Astray Noir. So for my number 2 pick, this was a fight between number 2 and number 1, but I think that this one, it's elegant, it looks great, and it's red. You can't really go wrong with a red mobile suit, right? I'm giving this to the Sinanju from Gundam Unicorn. This is an amazing suit. I think from the thrusters on the back to the grenade launcher, the beam rifle, everything. It's just everything about this just screams awesome to me. To me, this is kind of like the Ferrari of the mobile suit world. And, over the course of the last 10 years or so, we've gotten quite a few different releases of the Sinanju. From the prototype, which was the Sinanju Stein, we got a Verka of that. We got a regular master grade of the Sinanju. We gotten a real grade of the Sinanju, high grade of the Sinanju. We've gotten the newly announced Verka of the narrative version of the Sinanju Stein. I mean, this mobile suit, they've gotten a lot of traction out of it, and I think that this one deserves a metal build. And I will stand 10 toes down on this hot take. I think this is the best Zeon mobile suit. To me, it's not even close. It's just an amazing suit. And so for me, I think that this would be a great pick in the line. We don't see too many Universal Sentries in the metal build line. We've gotten like the F91 and maybe one or two others. Can't really think of it off the top of my head. I just know that we've gotten the F91. But I think for the metal build line, I think this would be amazing. And I think unlike the Providence, which is extremely overpriced in America, I'm not going to say in Japan, but in America, it's overpriced. I would be actually okay paying $350, $400 for the Sinanju. I think it's just a terrific mobile suit. So this is my number 2 pick, the Sinanju. So for my number one pick, I have to go with the new Gundam. Now, this really was a battle between the new Gundam and the Shinanju. I like both of those suits. I think both of those suits are amazing, but I couldn't put both at number one. And when I thought about it and I was like, okay, well, which one do I really want more? It would be the new Gundam. Now, when we got the metal structure a couple of years ago, I was actually kind of surprised because I was expecting a metal build version of the new Gundam. They ended up giving us the high new instead. And there's nothing wrong with the high new. I like the high new from Bell Torchica's Children. I think that that is an amazing suit as well. But I do want the movie version of the new Gundam. And I think that it deserves a metal build. It is probably one of the best suits in the Universal Century for sure, and just one of the most popular suits in Gundam, period. So for me, I just think that it would be a really good addition to the metal build line. And really, you've kind of already done the blueprint with the metal structure. I mean, all you really have to do is scale it down to 1/100, give it a little bit more articulation, because I think the one thing about the metal structure is that its lack of articulation, but that one is more of a display piece. And I think with the fin funnels and having the double fin funnels, you can even add the heavy weapon system to that with the boosters and everything. I think if Bandai released it, they would have another hit on their hands. So that is my pick for my most desired metal build, the new Gundam. So that's it for my top 5. I hope that you guys liked the video. And also, I wanted to thank my new subscribers, as I just hit over 500 subscribers. And I just want to thank you guys so much for that. And we're going to keep going into the new year. So thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.